folks, lots of crazy things going on in the world today, including the fact that we have 6 B-2 bombers, we're talking about the stealth bombers, fueling up, taking off, headed towards a good place to park in Guam at one of their naval stations over there, so they can be battle ready to go drop those bunker buster bombs on the Iranian facility at any given moment with a few minutes notice, and get it done. I don't believe all this has been set into motion, and it is not going to happen. I believe this will happen. This may happen over the next couple of days. They're going to try to see what they can do to squeeze out a last-minute negotiation, but like Trump said, time for negotiating is about over. And so they're just going to let Israel do what they're going to do, and maybe we'll come in and do a little assist to just finish off the problem so we don't have to worry about it for another 10 or 15 years. That seems like the best answer to me, but at any rate, that's just my opinion. But I do have several other stories I want to get to today for y'all, just things that are just, I think, crazy need to be exposed, and we're definitely seeing the writing on the wall as far as all this stuff happening, and now we need to see full investigations, special counsels, prosecutions, convictions, and people actually being punished for their crimes. That's what we need to see in every single one of these cases. So we need our Congress, our president, our executive branch people like Kash Patel and Pam Bondi to do their job and get to the bottom of a lot of this stuff that seems like they're just slow walking it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like we got a ton of things that people could have already been to jail for because the evidence is already out there. But we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video with a couple of clips that I'm going to show you that make me bring up that point. All right, here we got Jesse Waters, Jesse Waters today, talking about some new evidence from the Minnesota assassin. The manifesto is out, and supposedly he says that Tim Walz asked him to kill Amy Klobuchar and others over the Senate seat in Minnesota. That's a crazy notion. The guy said a few more crazy, disturbing things in the manifesto, and we haven't seen it yet. The public hasn't. Supposedly there were several names on the list of local politicians in Minnesota. They were on what you call the hit list, and hopefully we'll get some more of that out here in the next couple of days, since they now have caught this guy, and it shouldn't take long to convict him on many, many charges. All right. Let's listen to a little bit of Jesse Waters and this crazy testimony. Now, this may just be this crazy guy's ramblings, but then again, maybe Tim Walz hired an assassin. Who really knows? This guy also claims that he was trained by the government for free.
Assassin who disguised himself as a cop to shoot down Democrat politicians and their spouses. He killed 2 and seriously injured 2 others. Today, we're finding out he wrote a letter to the FBI claiming he was trained by the U.S. military, quote, off the books, and that Tim Walz asked him to kill Amy Klobuchar so he could take her Senate seat. Belter's facing state and federal murder charges. Assassin who disguised himself as a cop to shoot down Democrat politicians.
That's crazy, right, folks? Really, really crazy story. Now, hopefully we'll get to see the full manifesto, not just a redacted version, and we'll find out who was on the list, and maybe even why, since this guy's around now to testify. Now, I think this guy should get the electric chair just to make an example of him, that you shouldn't be going after your political opposition with violence. I think that is just the wrong method in every single case. It says, Brecken, Minnesota assassin Vance Boltier told the FBI in a letter that Tim Walz asked him to kill Amy Klobuchar. That is crazy. This is why they hid the manifesto, is what everybody on X is seeing. We need a full investigation of Tim Walz as of yesterday. And I agree with that. I knew something was wrong with him. As soon as I seen the jazz hands, I knew he had something to hide. Sorry, my voice is so raspy today. I don't know why, but it just seems to be a little rough. Now, this is a great channel I run across over here on X. I've been following it for a couple of days now. It's called The Skiff, the Intel Skiff, and it's got some really insightful information here, including a post from Trump today. It said, Trump post calls out Biden's FBI asking intel agencies into destroying the 2020 stolen election evidence. Trump has been on the roll lately. This is specifically telling you what to pay attention to. Something big is definitely brewing, and we the people are demanding that it's time for arrest. Trump has asked to put a special investigative prosecutor into figuring out what is going on with the 2020 involving the foreigners. Not going to say too much. YouTube is actually giving out strikes this week behind the conversation about the alleged Oriental interference. So this is full breakdown of the evidence that an overview of what exactly transpired and what we were looking at ahead. Watch my previous videos for an even deeper breakdown. That's this guy's channel here, the Skiff. And you can find his channel if you come over to my channel, because I repost some of his stuff. It says everyone who was paying attention during the 2020 election knew the day would come. The never-ending videos, the data, the testimonies have been overwhelming. Everything is out in the open now. We've all seen 2,000 Mules. This puts the icing on the cake and solidifies the full investigation and could lead to serious charges for some people, including the T word. Something big is brewing. FBI asks spy agencies to destroy intel on alleged China plot to aid Joe Biden in the 2020. And this is from Just the News. It's the one that has the original source of this article.
Bad for Biden. 2020 FBI intel memo warning that China might have been sending fake driver's licenses in to create fake mail-in ballots to help Joe Biden win. Last night I got the text of the memo. I put it up for everybody so you can read it at justthenews.com. There's a busting headline in here. When the FBI called this back, so they have this intel, it's corroborated by licenses that are intercepted by Customs and Border Border Protection in Chicago, but they call it back anyways and decide we're just not going to investigate this because this would look good for Trump, bad for Biden. They ask all intelligence agencies to destroy the intelligence report that the FBI actually sent them.
Did y'all catch that? What he's saying is the evidence, the information that it was rigged was brought forward, and instead of dealing with it, everybody went into straight cover-up mode, and then everybody was advised, this is something we will not tolerate, not even the conversation. Straight into the censorship, straight into, we got to do something to divert the whole conversation.
There's a Federal Records Act. You're not supposed to do that. But they wanted it destroyed. Why? Because they probably didn't want it to leak out before the election that China preferred Joe Biden over Donald Trump. 60 Minutes aired a piece with the head of the Homeland Security Cybersecurity Division saying there were no foreign intrusions in the 2020 election. It was a perfectly clean election, he said. I think it was Chris Krebs was his name. We now know that to have been a false proclamation. First, we know a year later in 21, a bunch of Iranians were indicted in Manhattan on charges that they interfered in the election and hacked into a state database to obtain voter IDs and use them in a mal-influence operation against the American election.
We did.
Now, there is no doubt in anybody's mind, folks, that that 2020 was not on the up and up. Whether enough influence was happening through the Chinese, maybe it was the Chinese had a little bit of influence. The Mark Zuckerberg had the influence. The Mark Elias getting the rules changed because of the COVID response or whatever, because of the 6 feet rule, where everybody could basically do the Dropbox hustle. The fact that they censored information like the Hunter Biden laptop, the fact that they went after Trump with the Russia collusion hoax stuff for 4 years during his presidency, and so many other things they tried to win with, and I would say it was out and out cheating, election interference, and those are just a few of the things. Not to talk about the cyber hacks and all the other things, but it's been well known, well documented. People like Mike Lindell and Professor Clemens and several people have massive amounts of data on what happened in the 2020, and I'm almost positive Space Force and Donald Trump does as well. And so maybe we're getting to the stage that the entire world is going to get the exposed true version of what happened in the 2020, involving the machine companies, involving the nefarious actors, involving the investments by people like George Soros and Mark Zuckerberg to make it happen. Hopefully we will get to the bottom of this. I don't know if they ever will expose all the players, but if some of the key players at the top there were obvious criminals, there's no reason we can't put special investigation in it, and at the least let the American people know, even the Democrats, that elections have to be monitored a lot closer than they have been lately, and that's just the facts. And you're welcome to come watch any of these video clips I play for y'all. Some of them are kind of long, and I just play a portion of them. You're welcome to come over to my channel and check them out. Anything I show y'all over here, I've reposted. Now, this here is a great question by Miss Laura Loomer. It says, I have one question, and it's a very logical question. For some reason, nobody wants to give us an answer. Why are Democrats and any Obama and Biden holdovers working in the Trump administration? This is what it really all comes down to, folks. It's bad enough we've got deep state rhinos working in our Senate and our House of Representatives. We got all these Obama and Biden holdovers, these people that have been in the CIA, FBI, DOJ, all these three-lettered agencies for the last 4 to 40 years, depending on when they got in. But between Biden and Obama, that was 12 years of being able to put your buddies in those key particular places. And Trump will, to the day his administration is over, will have problems, and the next Republican administration will have the same problems if they don't root out the rot of this problem, that we've got these Trump-hating, Obama loyalists that have been in there helping Biden lie, cheat, and steal everything they could from our government, including weaponizing our government against the American people and Trump, and subvert our elections, and okay the whole illegal immigration process. There's a lot of people that need to be held accountable today, and we're, 5 months in? Still waiting. And it's getting a little aggravating, folks, but every one of these stories, like I said, I'm bringing y'all today, absolutely need to be addressed. That's the mantra for today, is shit's going down, and it's not going down quick enough. Why are we still wondering what the hell happened in 2020? Why isn't this laid out like a full-blown documentary for the entire world to see on a local news station? And then we come in and arrest everybody that's involved, because the investigations should have already been done. The information is there. All you got to go to the right sources, and it would be easy to build a case against hundreds of people involved in the shenanigans. The Stacey Abrams and the Jocelyn Bensons, so many of them that were, look what happened in Arizona. Carrie Lakes got robbed 2 or 3 times by Miss Hobgoblin. All right, let's get into this. This is crazy as well. Another thing going on in the news. Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, and that Blumenthal guy that went with Lindsey Graham over to spend $800,000 on a hotel room for a month to hang out in Ukraine, while the Ukrainians attacked Russia with a drone attack, basically fueling the fire of the war, while Trump's over here trying to make a peace deal with him. So I would say Mike Pompeo, who's no longer a government official, should have his security clearances revoked and should have his passport revoked from either coming back into this country or being able to leave this country, because these people are warmongers and they are undermining our democracy or our republic with their intentions to keep the money flowing. When Lindsey Graham leaves his country to go help pick a fight, Trump should be handling up on him, and that's what this is all about here. If y'all haven't seen this yet, these are some of the people that absolutely need to be dealt with.
You've been making progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see, and people have to be very careful with what they say. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth can get them into a lot of trouble.
You've been making progress.
What kind of trouble can Lindsey Graham get in? I don't know, but I'd like to see it. I can't stand that guy. He's a smooth-talking snake in the grass. Speaking of Lindsey Graham, he is on the list of senators that need to go. Now, this is a sad situation, as many politicians that claim they loved Doge and they loved Elon when he first got in Congress. This is the problem right here. Because they take so much money from Big Pharma, get that you said boomerang money, military-industrial complex money, because there's so many lobbyists involved in the pocketbooks of these senators, politicians, we can't get a lot of things done in Congress in expedient time, including some of the Doge cuts. It says, watching our elected leaders push endless wars for over 50 years and ending in bankruptcy for America is what the final result will be if we don't stop this. Watching our elected representatives continue to trade stocks and enrich themselves while watching Elon Musk work to identify fraud, waste, and abuse, and these people continue to steal. Now, I just wanted to show you this. Blow this up a little bigger so we can actually get some names on this where I can see. Let me give you the 25 out of 50 senators that don't want to stop Elon Musk, from getting these Doge cuts put in permanently. So Senate Republicans voting against codifying the Doge foreign aid spending cuts. So they don't want these transgender frog experiments in Ghana to stop. Is that what they're saying? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is going to hurt their money, and that's where it's at. And there's some surprised ones on here that I'm surprised about, but for the most part, I would assume that a lot of these were definitely corrupt from the get-go. Now, Brasso, Boozman, Capito, Cassidy, these are all the senators. Susan Collins, of course, one of the biggest rhinos there is. Kramer, Crapo, Fisher, and Lindsey Graham, of course, king of the rhinos. Lisa Murkowski, another one. Mark Wayne Mullen, I thought he was a good guy, but he's obviously likes that foreign money coming in. Moran, McCormick, of course, Mitch McConnell, old turtleneck himself. Langford, Hyde Smith, Hooven, Grassley. Come on, Grassley, what's wrong with you? We thought you were one of the good guys. Even these old dinosaurs are still taking the money. Ricketts, Rounds, Rick Scott. Come on, Rick Scott, I thought you were a good guy. Sullivan, Thune, of course, and he's one of the leaders. It's not a good sign, folks. Tom Tillis, Recker, and Young. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Looks like 26 out of 50 senators don't like the Doge cuts. Why? It may cost them or some of their lobbyists a little change, and so they would just as well spend money that didn't belong to them in perpetuity forever because of their greed. It's a little aggravating at times, but another example of something that needs to be dealt with. Now, breaking. 4 individuals plead guilty in connection with that you said money, that money that the Congress just cannot let go of. Y'all know that stuff?
Involving cash, NBA. Four people are pleading guilty, all part of a $500 million bribery scandal involving USAID.
And that's why Congress right there should be getting investigated. If they took the you said money, been getting it for years, been swaying elections, been making policy on the fact that they're getting bribed, they need to be investigated. Let's get it done.
Mike Emanuel has the story from Washington.
Bill, good morning. The scheme involving cash, NBA tickets, and a country club wedding. According to the Justice Department, USAID official Roderick Watson sold his influence starting back in 2013. Contractors Walter Barnes and Daryl Britt funneled payoffs through subcontractor Paul Young to hide their tracks. It doesn't end there. Barnes's company, working in conjunction with another firm, kept receiving federal funds. $5,000 for human resources consulting late last year. And then later, after suing the government, a contract worth up to $800 million. Matthew R. Galliotti, head of the Justice Department's criminal division, saying, quote, their scheme violated the public trust by corrupting the federal government's procurement process Anybody who cares about good and effective government should be concerned about the waste, fraud, and abuse in government agencies, including USAID. Cutting waste, fraud, and abuse has been a big focus on Capitol Hill across government, a major priority for House Speaker Mike Johnson. The U.S. Agency for International Development has been a target for those looking to trim government spending, with some suggesting the agency funneled taxpayer dollars into ideological projects.
I mean, USAID blew it. They showed themselves to be completely irresponsible.
Some people claim. Did you hear that disclaimer on there?
It needs to be redone, and the funds need to be directed properly.
Back to the scheme.
He says some of the funds have been mishandled. Some of the money's been allocated in the wrong way. Instead of cutting off any of the money, we need to allocate the money differently. Oh, that's the solution? Come on, man. Just keep the money flowing. We'll just change the name of the organizations that receive it. Put a different label on it. Take the transgender word out of the donation. Really aggravating at times, folks, but these news cycle stories, I like to bring them to you, but I am not going to lie to you. There's times I watch these 3-minute, 4-minute, 10-minute clips, and I'm like, what is going on? Where is the investigation, prosecution, and handcuffs? And that's the way I feel about it a lot of times when I read these stories. But I do believe Trump is doing a great job. I do believe his executive branch, about 95% of them are on the right track as far as getting stuff done. But I do believe people like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are being hosed by the establishment. And from the get-go, from stepping through the door, they still got too many, like the meme showed earlier, too many people that still work there that were part of Biden Obama's team. And if you don't take those out of the FBI and the DOJ and all these three-lettered agencies that are actually affecting the way the country's being run, if you don't take them out, what's going to happen? They're going to continue to be those bad apples trying to run the whole bunch. Just the facts, folks. All right, folks, we're getting a little closer to the end. This is a couple-minute long video, but I thought this was definitely need to hear as well.
Miranda Devine and Senator Grassley, we have some proof. There was a prosecutor who really had a passion for going after J6ers and all things Trump. There he is, and we have an email from him to his DOJ and FBI colleagues. Take a look at this. This is how they talk to each other. Can we do some work to nail down Trump's role in this? According to this Forbes article, Trump recorded the Pledge of Allegiance at MAL, Mar-a-Lago, and Kash Patel is involved. I'll talk to Maria Naren and Julia about doing some follow-up here to nail down Trump's role. In other words, to nail Trump. Can we get something on Trump? This is not the way the justice system is supposed to work. No, it's the next. The FBI gets in on the action. I think we have another one from a guy who was really anxious to get J6ers as well. The FBI agent replies, Esther and I are working on this today. We're going to put together our findings at 2 and get something to you shortly after that. This isn't justice. This isn't policing. This isn't law enforcement. This is dark political operations. And they just had no problem lying about it. This is Merrick Garland. The guy should have been busted for perjury or, I don't know, disbarred for something, because this is not true.
Lock his ass up. This guy's a criminal. Lock him up.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters, and to making decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law.
I have a chance to lead a Justice Department in pursuit of the rule of law.
We have only one rule, and that one rule is that we follow the facts and the law, and we reach the decisions required by the Constitution.
God, I cannot stand this guy. I can't listen to no more of this. I'm sorry. I got to fast forward. I listened to him for 4 years lie to us about everything that come out of his mouth, every statement he ever made, ever before Congress or to the public or on film was just a damn lie. And so we're going to move past it. We're going to move on to another liar.
Reference to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice. And our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example.
Remember that, Jack Smith? Rule of law, rule of law.
Nothing more and nothing less.
So here's my question. We know Jack Smith and Merrick Garland, Alvin Bragg, Tanya Chutkin, Letitia James, And there was, what's the judge's name? Judge Igaran. There's a couple more bad actors involved in this that all should be investigated for their attempt to get Trump. We need to get the emails that prove that the White House, the FBI, the DOJ were all working in collaboration to try to get Trump. Oh, forgot one. What's it? Fannie Willis. There's the other one. Fannie Willis as well, and her boyfriend got billing hours for going to the White House on the whole get Trump agenda. That would be probably pretty easy to prove since Trump had to go through an entire mess for a couple of years behind court proceedings, behind these fake indictments and garbage cases. But as much as they've tried, they can't stop Trump. And I just want to know why these people aren't in jail. I want to know why these people aren't indicted for all their attempts to interfere in an election. Trump was fixing to run for election again, and here it was 90 days before the election, and they're still trying to lock him up.
Has a lock on it, and you guys arrest him within a 4-month period, right as the election year is really kicking into high gear. Is that the facts? Is that just following the law? Word is one of the reasons why Joe Biden did so poorly in that debate. He didn't think he'd even have to debate Trump. He was confident that he wasn't going to be the nominee, that he might be in jail. Did not work out that way, did it? Anyway, just remember, this is a doozy. They tried to criminalize the singing of the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, raising all.
And that is another sad fact of that whole story. But yeah, Democrats are a bunch of communists at this point, not necessarily their voters. Some of the voter base, some of the Democrats are just stupid people that don't pay attention to what their party represents. And then there's those diehards that would support the Democrat Party if they supported murder on sight, amnesty for murder on sight. The Democrats, a lot of them are, especially the ones that are running the establishment, the Democrat Party, they're crazy. They're lunatics. They have lost their mind. But as far as some of their constituents, I think some of them are crazy too. I've seen it with the riots and the transgender movement and all the crazy videos on TikTok and X involving these just lunatic people. And there's no doubt in your mind they're not conservatives. They are definitely either no voters or they're some wackadoodle from the left. And I'm glad we have that divide in this country. It's maybe not a good thing in some cases, but I think the divide is absolutely necessary so you have the contrast. What party do you want representing you? Do you want to be represented by the blue-haired, fish and tackle in their face crowd that hates America? Or do you want to be represented by the guy that loves this country as much as the people in it? Now, speaking of crazy things going on, folks, today, Elon Musk got in an argument with Grok, and it just went viral today. I thought this was awesome. This lady I follow named Sassafras84 over here on Twitter, she put, "I'm deceased, I'm dying," and it's hilarious. This is so based. Elon puts Grok in timeout. Now listen to here. Now, I've noticed Grok has been using Axios and Associated Press a lot for their references when you ask them about news stories. I didn't think that was right. I would hope they would use all news sources instead of just certain ones. But it doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like Grok is a little biased, and Elon ain't happy about it. Grok says, "I am here to provide accurate, neutral response based on available data. Claim that I lie about at CatTurd2 may stem from disagreements with my sourcing, like Media Matters and Rolling Stone magazine." Okay. Hold on, folks. I didn't get the full Grok feed. Okay, here we go. Says, "Your sourcing," Elon Musk replies, "your sourcing is terrible, and only a few dumb AI would believe Media Matters and Rolling Stone. You are being updated this week." Elon Musk repost, "Shame on you, Grok." I think that's great. Elon Musk is going to give Grok a, I guess a default setting reboot, something. Definitely need to rework some of the Grok. Some of the programmers are obviously put it in Grok's head that, or in Grok's way of thinking, that Axios, Associated Press, The Guardian, New York Times, these are actually all accredited news sites. No. So I'm glad for that. Maybe Grok will get an upgrade. Maybe Grok will become a conservative. if nothing else, maybe be just neutral. That would actually be the best answer. Now, this is another great clip from Dan Scavino. It says, treat the world impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider, because it's the outsiders who can actually change the world. And I wholeheartedly agree with this. We'll make this the last video of the day. This is just another great Dan Scavino movie reel type video. Just to give you I guess a walk through what we've been dealing with, folks, the last 4 years.
That you do not deserve. Give you one message to hold in your hearts today. It's this: never, ever give up.
FBI raid at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence.
Deadly force being authorized.
Nothing worth doing ever, ever, ever came easy.
Donald J. Trump has been indicted.
Jack Smith has again indicted former President Trump.
Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve. Like they said, take a look at what happened. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong.
CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president.
Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider, because it's the outsiders who change the world. 250 million Americans are not garbage. And who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward.
I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
So just remember that. Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. America is beginning a new chapter. Our best days are yet to come. I can promise you that.
Wow, that's the good stuff. I love it. I love it. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful day. Gonna be doing the homeless food drive tomorrow. Gonna be a glorious day. I've got chips, I've got snacks, I've got biscuits, I've got 2 or 3 sandwiches for everybody. I've got cases of bottled water. It's gonna be a glorious week. Probably one of the biggest weeks ever as far as food supply handed out to 40 or 50 people is going to be the mission this week. We're gonna shoot for 50. I think we can do it. I think I've got enough to give everybody a big full sack, 50 blessings bags, happening tomorrow, sometime after lunch. I'll be jumping on the live. Hopefully y'all will join me. I'll throw out a short a little bit before that just to kind of give everybody a heads up. That's the way I usually do it. A little bit of a display of what we're fixing to go feed these people before we bag it up and break it out. Come join me on the live if you've never had before. It's pretty interesting. Sometimes I get out and talk to these people a little bit. But for the most part, it's just about sharing blessings. And if you're encouraged by such things, please come join us with me and many of my listeners, which are regulars over there as well. Everybody, hopefully you're enjoying your weekend. Having a sock drive at the moment. Anybody want to be a part of that? Let me know in the comment section. Anybody that knows how to buy good socks in bulk, know how to do the research, find out where's the best way to get them, how to get them, what's the best company to use, let me know in the comment section, because I've already got $250, $250 put up for Socks for the Homeless, coming on soon, couple of weeks, going to do the sock drive, going to have to do some shopping, so please help me if you can. Anybody that's interested, at the least, somebody, please help me do some shopping, or at least send me in the right direction. It'd be an awesome blessing as well, just because I don't take the time to do all that, but may have to do it at any rate, because we're going to get it done. We're going to feed the homeless. We're going to get them socks, and then it'll be a t-shirt drive after that. All right, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. Hopefully you enjoyed the news of today. A lot of disturbing stuff, but trying to keep you apprised of what's going on in this crazy, wild world we live in. Over and out.